Okay, welcome everyone. Looks like we have a good group here. Thank you for joining on this hot summer night. Appreciate your time. Today we are going to talk about MEFA Pathway's high school portal. So just want to thank you again for joining. My name is Jennifer Bento-Pinion. I have been here at MEFA for a little over 6 years now as program manager for MEFA Pathway. And just to share, one of my favorite aspects of what I do on a day-to-day basis is to have the opportunity to work directly with you, your families, educators, and helping to support your students with their post-secondary planning. So just a couple of housekeeping items before we get started on the demo of the website. I'm going to keep everyone on mute throughout the presentation, just to cut back on the feedback of the noise. And then if you have any questions, just jot them down in the question box, and I will address all of those at the conclusion of the webinar, of the presentation. And at the end, I will also leave my contact information up. So if you wanted to get in touch with me directly, you can do that. And then this session is being recorded. So I will also send a recording of this presentation out to you following the session. So now if you're logged in to the GoToWebinar on your phone with the app, you can just slide or swipe right to get to the actual presentation. So you won't see the webcam. If you want to get back to the webcam, you just swipe to the left. All right. So just to give you a little background, if you're not familiar with MEFA Pathway, MEFA Pathway is offered as an extension of all the great resources that MEFA has to offer. We help families plan, save, and pay for college for over 35 years now. And MEFA Pathway is a complete college and career planning resource for students. It is offered to educators and students across the Commonwealth. It's offered to all middle and high schools in Massachusetts free of cost by the Massachusetts Educational Financing Authority. So MEFA Pathway plays a key role in the Commonwealth's efforts around college and career readiness and success by increasing access to information about higher education and career opportunities for all types of students. So Pathway provides access to academic and professional success to learners in grades 6 through 12 across the Commonwealth by setting each student on a path to college and career success. So rather than a one-size-fits-all approach to future planning, Pathway is tailored to meet the needs of the Commonwealth's diverse student and workforce populations by offering comprehensive tools in one easily accessible website. So just differentiate between the middle school portal and the high school portal. The middle school portal, if your student creates an account in grades 6, 7, or 8, they will see different activities than what you will see this evening in the high school portal. So the high school portal is for grades 9 through 12. If your student is a middle schooler and creates an account as in that middle school grade level, their transition will be seamless to the high school portal. So they do not have to create another username or password. It's just everything just flows with them. Okay, so we're on the, and we're gonna go through, it will take about 30 minutes, and I'm not gonna go into great depth into the features, but I'm going to show you many of them. So MEFApathway.org is our URL, our main landing page here. So you'll see I'm going to go into the student view. So I'm a student. As a first-time user, your students will create an account. They will click register here and go through a very simple registration process. They can select the city or town their school is in, and then once they do that, let me just show you here. If I select Acton, you'll see all the schools within the town of Acton. So they get onto the following page, which is where they create a username and a password. They do create 2 security questions. They do have to have a working email address. So the security questions and the email address is if they forget their username or password, they can reset it that way. So very simple registration process. And then once they create their, go through the process, create their account, then they will have their credentials. So when they log in, obviously they're just putting in that username and password. So this is my my test account here that I use, and it's a grade 11 student. So when your student creates an account and logs in, the system will acknowledge what grade they're in, and therefore on their dashboard page, it will give suggested activities per their grade level. So as an 11th grade student, we're suggesting that they're updating their profile, they're creating their resume, they're reviewing their course plan, etc. as they're going down here, setting goals and strategies, maybe updating those goals and strategies, exploring careers. So these are the suggested activities for a grade 11 student, whereas that would be different if you had a grade 9 student that was logging in. You'd see different suggested activities. We have this great featured video series, Journey to College. I highly recommend you get your students to view this. Real students talking about their college application process. It's pretty cool to listen to. And then we always have a featured scholarship on the dashboard as well that we change up. So the dashboard is a great, I mean, when the student logs in, they see this, so it helps them with their next steps. Okay, so I started my profile, now what do I do? So speaking of the profile, let's jump into that. So when the student first creates their account, we want to encourage them to start adding in all the great things that they're doing both inside and outside of school. And all of what they input within these pages here will then feed into a resume tool. So they have their personal information that feeds in from their registration, and then they can edit. All these pages are editable. They can add their school will automatically populate as when they put that in when they through the registration process. And then if they attended a high school previously, they can add that in. If they've done any or doing any dual enrollment work, they can add that in on this page here. So they're adding sports, clubs, community service, employment, honors and awards, all of which is very simple to add. They just click the Add New button. They select their type of activity. If they do not find it on this drop-down box, they can just click Other. They select the grades that are involved. When do you plan to continue at college? They can add a position held if they like, and then they can also add a description if they do so choose. So they want to make sure that everything that they type in is capitalized properly, spelled properly. We do not have a spell check, so they want to be really careful how they're saving and just make sure it's how they would want it to show up on their resume. So again, they can add honors and awards. They just go right down the line. So this is something that the student will continue to build on throughout their high school years, and they can use it for job applications, of course, college application. They can save as many resume drafts as they please. So what is maybe appropriate for a particular job that they're hiring, that they're applying for, may be different than for a college application. So when we're the student, I'll just give you a quick look at how they can create a resume. They can add an objective statement if they like. And what they do is you'll see that all of what they've added within their profile details will appear on this page. And then they can deselect if they do not want to appear on a particular draft. So just for example, if they don't want any of their honors and awards to appear, they can just uncheck it. And then they'll go through that process, save. And then once they save, they can name their draft. And then from there, once they've saved their draft, it appears on this list. So as you can see, I have quite a few resumes saved here. So I just click view, and then it brings up that particular draft. So here's one that I created a couple of weeks ago, has an objective and all of what I added from the profile details. And then from here, the student can change the resume style if they like. They can switch it up to modern. They can download it as a PDF or download as a Word doc. So if they're downloading as a Word doc, they can then manipulate it from there. They can change the font, they can change the order. So it's a great way for students to start thinking about how they're, what in fact a resume is used for. And it allows them a very easy way to store all of the great things that they're doing, both inside and outside of school. All right, so let's move on. We're going to just cruise right down the tabs here. Discover careers. So within our website, we have 3 assessments. We have the what are my interests, what are my work values, what are my skills. So the work values assessment and the interest assessment tie into directly into the career search. So the student will, I'll just click get started. They can retake this assessment as many times as they like. On the educator side, if you are one of our affiliate schools, you have access to the counselor portal and you can see the students' results. So I'm not going to go through, there's 30 activities that the student rates from I love it to I hate it. I won't drag you through the 30, but I will show you what the results page looks like. So based on what the student answered, their top 3 results are realistic, conventional, and investigative. So we can scroll down, we get a little summary of all. And then from here, the student can start looking at different careers that are related to these specific results. So just for example, I clicked realistic, here's a list of related careers. Then from here, the student can look down this list, and this is an abbreviated list, and I'll show you the main career search page in a moment. But the student can go and click on, say, okay, this looks interesting, welder, cutter, and welder fitter. What does this entail? So general kind of information at the top, and then as we scroll down, this is the career details page. You'll see there's a lot of information available on each of these careers. All of the information comes from ONET, so that's refreshed in our system on a yearly basis. And then as we scroll down, you can see how does this career match to you. So once the student does their interest assessment and their values assessment, they can see how that career matches up to what's important to them. They can save this career to their list if they do so, if they would like to. And then once they start building out that list, they can save as many careers to their list as they like. So this student here, our test student, has 44 careers on the list. And maybe as a grade 9 or 10 student, that list is 44 careers deep, but then maybe as a student is honing in on a particular career or maybe a career category, that they're narrowing that list down. So we'll go back here. So again, both of those, the values and that interest assessment ties into the career, the main career search page here. So I'm just to review, I'm on Discover Careers, and now I'm on Career Search. So the Career Search page, I mean, the sky's the limit with the information that the student can start to explore within this page. Just to give you a quick example, so I'm on the left side here. This student wants to use their top interests, so I just click Use My Interests. Now their top 3 interests are automatically checked off based on that assessment that they took. They have a corresponding list of careers. Now let's narrow this list down first. We'll say this student really, they think their career category may lie within Health and Human Services. So we're checking off Health and Human Services. That list gets narrowed down a bit further. Maybe we say, okay, I'd like to go to school for no more than 2 years, vocational training or 2-year degree. So I'm clicking up the top here, and as you can see, I'm building out the different criteria. So now I'm down to 25 careers. We can save a particular search if we like. So based on this criteria, we can save a search, come back to it later. Or we can now start looking at this career list based on those filters. So let's look at this. I don't even know if I can pronounce this. Let's look at it. It looks pretty cool. We can click on it. Histologic technician. Wow, that's never heard of that. And that's amazing too. I've worked with students directly in the classroom through the site. And what's pretty cool is as they go through these pages, just the like, wow, I didn't know that even existed, or what is this? And it just for them to explore these pages and just learn about how they may match or fit with a particular career based on their skills or their their interests or the subjects they like in school. So professional qualifications. So again, this is the main career details page. So they can save that to their list. and then go from there. So great. You know, the students can spend a lot of time looking through that career plan, that search careers page. We're moving on to the career plan page here. So first we'll look at the goals and strategies page under build career plan. I think this may be one of my favorite pages in the site, just because I feel like it lends itself to some great conversations and just the students just start thinking about both short and long-term career, personal, and academic goals. So the student can add up to 3 of each of the career, personal, and academic goals. And this is something that they'll start. Maybe this is available in the middle school portal, so they might start it in middle school age, and then as they grow and change, maybe their goals grow and change. So they just click add goal. They can add a strategy to match up with that goal. So that's a great conversation as well. How are you going to meet that goal? Well, I own my own business. So, well, I want to first graduate from high school, and then I want to go to college and major in business. Once they start completing these goals, they just can go in and edit each of the goals, and then just click the little bubble to notate that that goal has been completed. All right. The next thing is the course planner. So the course planner can be used. So the schools are our list of affiliate schools. If they have, if they create a course catalog within on their side, on the educator side, within the counselor portal, the students can then that connects to the student side, and then they can select courses that the school offers from that list. If your student is not does not go to one of our affiliate schools that puts together the course planner, then the student can just customize all of the classes that they would like to add. So any student can use this, of course. And what they do is, let me just show you quickly. So this is grade 10, semester 2. Our student took math, English, science. They customized a course. And then what they do is once they complete these courses, they can add their final grade in the credits that they earned. So when they add the subject in the course name, they will also select the course level and how many credits that course is worth. So then they can, if we go up to the top here, is a great chart to show their how they're moving along with their credits. If they're at risk for not graduating, or if they're trying to meet those Mass Core requirements, they can see that all on this tidy little chart. And then again, on the counselor side, the counselor has access to view this as well on the student. Okay, search for colleges. So there are a number of different features within the search for college tab. So we have, first we'll just start off with the college search itself. So, you know, students can start looking at this very early on. They can select criteria on the left side of the page here. I'll just do a quick little search. Let's just go by region. So let's just look for schools in Mass and maybe New Hampshire. So as you put in the different criteria, you'll see that the list goes down. So I just put in the region in there, and we're already down to 132 colleges. So this is all of the information on the colleges comes from Peterson's, which is a national database. So this is updated twice a year. So I'm just scrolling down here to show you the school. If the student has a school size preference, say they want to go to a small school, less than 7,000. Maybe they want to be in a small town setting. So I'm just randomly putting in this criteria. So now, as you can see, just based on these filters, we have 22 schools. So then from here, we can say, all right, let's just scroll down the list here. Let's look at, let's check out Dartmouth College. We're going to click on Dartmouth College. And now this brings us to the details page of that college. So the college looks similar to the career details page, but general information at the top. And then as we scroll down, you can expand the different areas to get quite a bit of information on the schools. So just to show you here, tuition, fees, information on the student body, campus life. And then once you get to the very bottom, there's contact information. And typically there's a link to the school's direct website and then their admissions page. So if the student wants to start saving colleges to their list, they just click Save to List. And then again, similar to the career list, they have colleges that they've saved to their list, and then they can favorite those colleges, and then they can even put a little star next to ones that they're interested in applying to. So one of the things that, and again, this college list may be, 25 long, 30 long when the student first is looking at schools, but then as they get closer to actually applying to school, they are definitely going to narrow that list down. So in order to do so, they can come in and use the College Compare tool. So the College Compare is, you can compare up to 5 schools side by side, and I just happen to have one saved here. You can save as many as you like. You can the student can set up their preferences and use those preferences. But let me just show you, let's see, that's a good one to show you here. This one I made back in May. So the student can select colleges from their list, or they can just type in the name of a school that they want to look at. And then as we scroll down here, was that not a good one? Oh, that wasn't a good one to show you, was it? All right, let's try that again. Let's do the last one. Nope. Oops, pardon me. Okay, for some reason this isn't, let's refresh. Let's refresh. When in doubt, refresh. All right, so let's try this again. So I'm going to go to my comparison. I'm going to show you the last one here from May 12th. And then here we go. We have our chart. This particular comparison has 4 schools. So you can see the key factors at the top, and you can see how they each measure up to one another side by side. So this is a great way for the student. You can see tuition and fees, academic information, test score data. Is a great way for students to build out that list of target, reach, and safety schools. So there's a college out there for everyone, but it depends on how your particular student fits in to the criteria, the requirements of a particular school. So they can use that College Compare as a tool to help them when deciding on schools that they want to apply to. All right. So I'm going to jump over to the Pay for College tab. We do have, if you're one of our affiliate schools, we're coming up on our 2nd year of Common App integration. So we have a connection with Common App so that when your student creates their Common App account, they can then connect that account to MEFA Pathway, and then their educators or counselors can manage all of their their transcript requests or letters of recommendations all through MEFA Pathway. So again, we're in our 2nd year. It's a very exciting addition. We've been waiting for it to have it for years. So super excited to offer that to our schools. So we'll just go through some of these features here. The college cost calculator. This is great to use when your student has actually been admitted to schools. So they have their financial aid offers right in front of them. They can add up to 5 schools. So this helps them to actually make their final decision of where they'd like to go based on their awards that they've gotten from these schools. So as you can see, we have 4 schools here. So when you add a school, when you add a college, it automatically brings in the tuition and fees and the room and board. So based on, if you add University of New Hampshire and you're a Massachusetts resident, it's going to bring in the tuition and fees from as an out-of-state student. So the system recognizes that. So then the student can come in and add in any, and let me just show you what it looks like when I'm just going to click edit here so you can see how easy it is for students just to add their numbers in. So this is Bridgewater State. The student can add in their books and supplies, just an estimate of extra expenses. And then again, they have their financial aid offers right in front of them, and they can plug in state scholarships, institutional scholarships. If they got any outside scholarships, they can add those in here. grants, if they got the, if they want to add in the federal sub and unsub loans, work study, etc. Once they do that, they just click calculate out the cost gap for each of the schools. And then when we scroll down here, we'll see that the system will calculate out the annual cost gap for each of the schools and the 4-year cost gap. A lot of students forget that they will probably be going to school for 4 years. So they look at this number here, this annual yearly cost gap, and they're like, oh, that's not too bad, but they don't take into consideration that they're going to be going to school for 4 years. So they certainly want to look at that. So this tool really helps make that, again, that informed decision about where they're going to send their final deposit into. So what I like to do once I show the students a college cost calculator is go on to the loan cost estimator. So the loan cost estimator is a great educational tool because we hear about students getting into severe loan debt every day. So we want to educate our students about loans and how to be responsible with the money that they're borrowing. So we take that and we can click on it. This is kind of neat. They can click there, this little My College Cost Gap Totals, and from the college cost calculator that I just showed you, we're seeing those 4-year cost gap. So maybe they say, well, Bridgewater State University is a pretty good choice for me. I'll still have to borrow close to $26,000 over the course of 4 years. So let's see what that looks like as far as loan amount goes. So we'll put in our $26,000. We're going to, system's telling us here that the typical student loan interest rate is 5%. And then we're going to just start with 15 years, taking 15 years to repay. So based on those numbers, we're looking at the estimated monthly loan payment as being a little bit over $200 after 15 years. The total is going to be a little over $37,000. So the student borrowed $26,000, and then when all is said and done, after the 15 years, they're paying over $11,000 in interest. So these are the types of conversations that are important. Just the interest, like what is interest? What does that mean? A lot of students don't know. I always take it back to putting 10 years in. So I start with 15 and then I take it back to 10. And it just shows the students that although your monthly loan payment bumped up a little bit over the course of over 10 years, your interest will be lower by about $4,000. So we can then scroll down a little bit. We're looking at this monthly loan payment that comes in automatically. And now our student can say, oh, well, I'm going to go to school to be a graphic designer. So the system pulls in the projected annual salary, and let's calculate out the affordability of that loan. So based on the monthly loan payment, the projected salary, we're looking at a lower stress. So again, good conversations to have with your students, just to make them aware. We have the expected family contribution calculator here. So the student can go through, I believe there are 5 steps, and it will calculate that EFC. So that's the intended number, represents the amount the family can pay. And this might change year to year. So if you've had some, changes in your financial situation, you can come in, the student can come back in and recalculate. And then the final thing that I'll show you under the Pay for College is the scholarship search. So the scholarship search works similarly to the college search. And the database is also from Peterson's. So again, students, I think a lot of times they're not really sure about what a scholarship may be. A lot of students don't realize that a scholarship is money you do not have to pay back. So apply for as many as you can get your hands on. And a lot of times a student, because they've gone through the college application process, they kind of stop there. Unfortunately, there are so many scholarships that go unawarded every year because students don't apply. So it's really important that they that they apply to as many as they can. So they can select criteria on the right here, and then it will generate out a list based on that selected criteria. They can click on, just click on this very first one here to show you. Details page, looks familiar, right? Career details page and the college search, the college details page. Description of the scholarship, and then they can save this scholarship to their list if they like. And once they start adding scholarships to their list, they can manage from there. So they can see the deadline, which is really important. You don't want to miss a deadline. And then they can update the status and the award amount if they've received an award. All right. I guess, oh, the final thing, I didn't show you this. This is pretty cool. This is actually one of our newer features. So the Mass State Benefits allows your student to look at starting what they could save potentially if they started at a community college and transferred to a four-year university. So very simple to create a plan. They just click that little box here, and then we have all of our community colleges within Massachusetts. So let's just say our student they want to start at Quinsigamond, and then maybe they want to transfer. As you can see, we have all of our state schools here. They want to transfer to Worcester State. So I just selected those two options, and then from there, we have within the Mass Transfer Program, we have 3 different programs that students can take advantage of. We have the Gen Ed Foundation Program, and you can see the different requirements along with the estimated savings. We have the A to B program, and then we also have the Commonwealth Commitment Program. So you can see the difference in the savings based on the program. So maybe the student says, wow, this one looks really great. I want to save this plan. So they can save this plan. And then once they do that, they can start a list of those saved plans and then apply those plans to both the college comparison tool and the college cost calculator. So these are 2 plans that we have saved here. So they can come back, they can add more plans, they can remove a plan if they like. Very, very simple. All right. So that was a very quick rundown of the the general idea of our system here. We constantly have new enhancements coming out, and we also really value the feedback of our users. So if you get into the site and you have questions, or you're psyched about a piece or not so psyched about a piece, certainly shoot anything my way, because this is how we make this tool better for our users, is by taking that feedback seriously and changing up what is what works best for our users. So I am going to take any questions. If you have a question, just type it into the chat box here. So here's a question: how does this differ from Naviance? Well, that's a good question. Of course, I'm a little partial to our system here, but Naviance offers similar tools that we offer. And I'll tell you, one of the main differences, which is not a difference anymore, was our access to Common App. So now that we have Common App, I feel like we're pretty, we're on level playing fields. So we have I feel like a very different look and feel to our website. There's there are, I'm not entirely sure. I know that there's a cost to Naviance, which is one of the main difference, where MEFA Pathway doesn't cost anything. If you're a school that wants to use MEFA Pathway, it's completely free. It will never cost anything, whereas Naviance does cost the school to use. So that's a big difference. And there's another question: how is the EFC calculated? So there's a formula within the system that I'm not, it's based off of parent financial information, student financial information, and then there's a formula that where the system generates out that EFC. That's a good question, though. All right, any other questions before we wrap it up? I am going to leave, as I said, it doesn't look like there's any more questions. I am going to leave my contact information slide up here for a couple of minutes so you can jot down my contact information if you want to get in touch with me. Again, if you're an educator at a school and you're interested in bringing MEFA Pathway to your school, certainly reach out. If you're a parent or a student with any questions, certainly reach out. And yeah, go in and create your own account. Go to mefapathway.org, click I'm a student, register here, very easy registration process. Even if you're an educator and you want to create an account so you can see how it all works, please do. We encourage you to get in there and poke around on your own. So I thank you for joining tonight, and I will be sending a recording of this session along to everyone that attended and all those that registered. So if you know someone that registered and they weren't able to make it, they will receive a recording as well. All right, enjoy the evening, everybody. I'll leave this up for a couple of minutes so you can jot it down or take a picture of it.